Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and welcome to Pi Flash. So this is the way the module looks, and the way that you can tell the difference between Pi and Pi Flash is because of the fact that you will see Pi Flash will be cycling between three different five-digit long sequences of pi's, essentially. There will be three different sequences that are going to be present in the exact first 500 significant digits of pi. And what our goal is, it's going to be a little bit similar to how pi works. And for those of you who do not know how pi works, I would advise you get familiar with that tutorial. I will leave a link in the description. It's very important that you kind of know how the general rule of how Pi Flash works. Because if you know one of them, you kind of know both of them. But if you want to start with this one, be my guest. So let's take a look and see what we need to do. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out, hey, what are we looking at here? And let's get all of these digits present. So let's take a look. So we have a 06606, a 35897, and a 51328. Okay, and these are going to be the three sequences that we're going to get throughout this. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to note down first off where the positions of these guys are within the first 500 digits of pi. And the way that we're going to note this down is we need to find the position of the first digit. So, with the powers of Control F, what we can do here is we can search up these numbers. Now, keep in mind that there might be some times where a number might break off onto the next line here, because these are all going to be these are all going to have a total of 20 digits present on them. So there is the possibility of that happening. So keep that in mind. So we have a 06606, which in this case is going to be right here. Now, the way that I like to determine this, especially for ones that are in the middle of this whole mess, is I like to count by 20s. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, and the way that you can tell is each line, as I mentioned beforehand, is indeed 20 digits long. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and then this is going to be where we're going to count. So this is currently at 300 right now, keep that in mind. So then we've got 301, 302, 303, 304, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 309 for this first one right here. So 309 is our first position. Now, normally with this in mind, what you would have to do is you'd only be working with one of these digits here. But obviously with Pi Flash, you're working with three different sequences, whereas Pi, you're working with one. So we've got a 35897. This is a very early one. We like this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is number 10. This is 10th in the sequence. Remember, we're only paying attention to the first digit. So that's all we care about. And then we have a 51328. Another very early one. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is going to be 10. So this is currently 100. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is a 110. Okay. And now, what exactly are we going to be doing with this information here? We've determined the first thing that we need to do, and now what we need to do is we need to determine three different variables. In this case, x, y, and z. And the way that we're going to determine this is going to be with this. So for first, let's figure out what x is. So add the sum of these positions to the average of the numbers displayed on the module. Round down to the nearest integer. And then we're going to take this number modulo 100, and this result will be referred to as the number x. So now, let's take a minute and let's process this. So first things first, add the sum of these positions, so in this case referencing the positions of each of these three digits. So let's pop out our handy-dandy calculator, which in this case we're going to use TFC. That is some random math. That's from tax returns. Don't worry about that. So now, let's add the sum of these positions. So we're going to add a 309 plus 10 plus 110. In this case, we're going to get 429. I'm just going to copy this for later. And now what's going to happen here is that we need to do the average of the numbers displayed on the module. And this is going to be worded a little bit weird, and it's very important that you follow along with what I'm doing here. We're going to take all three of these numbers, in this case all three sequences, and we're going to treat them as separate numbers. In this case, 6606, 35897, and 51328. And the way that average works is what we're essentially going to do is we're going to add up all these digits together, and then we're going to divide it by the amount of numbers that we have present. In this case, 3. Not 15, because that would be counting each of the individual numbers. That would be 3. So in this case, we're going to do 6606, obviously dropping any leading zeros. In this case, I'm going to also put parentheses in front of it, plus 35897 plus 51328. And then now, what we're going to do is we're going to divide this by 3. And we get this number. Now, if there happens to be a fraction present in this, you would just round down to the nearest integer. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to add 31277 and we're going to add 429, in this case, the sum of the positions. And now what we're going to do is, to make this simple, we're going to take this number modulo 100, or in this case, take the two least significant digits, in this case, 0, 6, or simply 6. Okay, and that is x figured out. This is our number of x. So now let's take a look at our next one. And this is probably the hardest one to actually determine. The rest of them are fairly simple to do. However, we're still gonna need the positions of the sequences for later numbers. So let's keep that in mind. So now y is a fairly simple one. I forgot to unhighlight that. Add up the third digit of the first number. Okay, third digit of the first number is a 6. The first digit of the second number, in this case being a 3. And the fourth digit of the third number, in this case being a 2. Then take the least significant digit. So let's take a look here. So we've got a 6 plus a 3 plus a 2. In this case, the least significant digit is going to be a 1. In this case, the 1's digit, essentially. And this is going to be marked down as Yankee. And that's it. That's really it. And then finally for Zulu, find the sum of the digital roots of the positions of each number's first digit. So this is going to be referring to the positions again, but essentially what we're going to be doing with this is that we're going to be finding the sum of the digital roots of them. So we're going to be doing each individual digital root of each of the positions. So each of these digital roots would be independently. So we're going to do, and the way that and how a digital root works is essentially what you're going to do is you're going to add up all the numbers together until you're left with one digit. So in this case, if we take a look, we have 3 plus 9 with this one, because 0 obviously doesn't matter. This is going to result in a 12, and then we're going to add 1 plus 2, which is going to give 3. Next up, with 10, is simply just a 1 plus 0, that's going to be a 1. And then 110 is, you guessed it, a 1 plus 1 plus 0, which is going to be a 2. And now we're going to add up these three numbers together, and we're going to get 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 2 is a 6. And just like that, we have determined all of our variables that we need to do. Now, like with the original pi, what we would have here is we would have a series of different rules that we would go down, and we're going to follow them from top to bottom, pressing each digit only once. And what these are going to give us is this is going to give us the positions of the digits that we're going to be pressing based off of the module from left to right. So in this case, this one being first, second, third, fourth, so on and so forth. Now, it's very important that you read what you're reading here, because if we take a look here, instead, normally what pi would start us off with is, take a look here, pi would start us off with first digit, second digit, third digit, fourth digit, and then it would be fifth digit from right to left, whereas with pi flash, it's fifth digit, fourth digit, third digit, second digit, and press all the digits that have not been pressed yet from left to right. So essentially, all of the presses have been essentially reversed. In this case, we start from 5 counting down with pi flash, compared to pi, which we would be 1 counting up. And for the last rule, you would be pressing anything that you would have from left to right for pi flash, and compared to pi, which you'd be pressing from right to left. So that's the key difference here. So let's take a look and let's see what rules we have here. If x and y are either both prime numbers or both composite numbers, press the fifth digit. Well, immediately one of the things that we can determine here is 1, in this case being Yankee, is not prime or composite. So we can already rule out, get rid of that rule. We don't have to worry about that, and we can simply move on to the next one. This does not apply. If x and z are both even or both odd, in this case they are both even because they're both 6s, and 6 is even. So in this case, this rule is true. If Yankee or Zulu are if Yankee and Zulu are multiples of 3, 1 is not a multiple of 3. 1 is one is only a multiple of 1 in itself. So that is just going to be just not true. If Zulu is greater than 10, y is not 0, and x is a multiple of y, press the second digit. In this case, this is not true. Y is not 0, x is a multiple of y because everything is a multiple of 1. And, however, Zulu itself is not greater than 10. It's only 6. So, that's not going to be true. And finally, we reach our last rule. In this case, press all digits that have not been pressed yet from left to right, starting from the first digit. So in this case, our order that we've determined, in this case, we're going to start with 4, and then we're going to press the remaining digits from left to right. So then we have a 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's do that. So we've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. And just like that is a solved module. So now let's take a look at one final example. And this module itself is not too bad. It's not too big of a step up from PyFlash. There is just another variable that's been added. And obviously there's more sequences that you need to find. But be careful with the wording because it's very particular about that. Especially with X, because X has been the one that's tripped me up beforehand. So take that from experience. So let's see what our next example gives us, and that will be good. Okay, let's take a look. We actually got quite lucky with the positions. I was expecting that to be a lot worse. All right, so we've got a let's see, from start. Here we go. 97932, 82097, and a 30781. Okay, so let me be sure. 97932, 82097, 30781. Perfect. Okay. Positions of these 97932. Fantastic. Another early one. So this is going to be 20 right here. That's 4. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, and 13. So this is going to be representing position 13. Remember, we're only paying attention to the first digit for this one. Then we have an 82970. Okay, and another early one. Wow. 20, 40. This is going to be 60. Let's count backwards. 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53. Okay, 53. And next up, we have 30781. Another early one. Wow. 246, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Okay. Now let's figure out our variables here. So we've got X-ray equals, Yankee equals, and Zulu equals. And now let's take a look here. So we're going to add the some of these positions. So in this case, we're going to add the 13 plus the 53 plus the 65 is going to be 131. Put this to the side for right now. And now let's do the average of our displayed digits, of our displayed sequences. So we have a 97932 plus an 82097 plus a 30781. Let's bracket this stuff off. And now let's divide each of these guys and give us our average by 3. So we're going to copy this answer here, and now we're going to add the 131 we had beforehand, and we're going to get a result of 0, 1, or 1 for X. Now, this is going to be interesting. So let's take a look. Now for the simplest step, add the third digit of the first number, so in this case being 9, the first of the second, which in this case is 8, and the fourth of the third, which is going to be 8. 9 plus 8 plus 8 is going to be 25. We're going to take the least significant digit, which in this case represents the ones digit. That's going to be a 5, and that's going to be y. And finally, what we're going to do is we're going to add up the sum of the digital roots from each of our positions. So we have 1 plus 3 is going to result in a 4, 5 plus 3 is going to result in an 8, 6 plus 5 is going to result in an 11, which is going to give us a 2. And now we're going to add up all these numbers up. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus the 4 is going to be 14. Okay, and now we're going to go through the rules here. We have X-ray and Yankee are both prime and both X-ray and Yankee are if X-ray and Yankee are both prime or both composite numbers. In this case, that's not true. We have another one case that just doesn't happen. If X-ray and Zulu are both even or both odd, X-ray and Zulu are both not even or odd. One is odd, one is even. If Yankee and Zulu are multiples of 3, no. 5 is not a multiple of 3. Neither is 14. Zulu is greater than 10. Y is not 0. And X is a multiple of Y. This is not true. The X is a multiple of Y is where it kind of falls flat on its face because of the fact that it is a 1. And 1 is only a multiple of 1. So that is the only case. So that's not true. And now simply what we're going to do is we're going to press all digits that have not been pressed yet from left to right, starting from the first digit. So in this case, it's just going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.